Now maybe I am coming about this in kind of a straw man kind of way, disaster scenarios and what else not. Now there is the state, and let's keep this in mind. If there is an amount of harm by learning this matter of don't touch the stove, and you go touch, and ouch, that hurts, and they'll remember that harder than anything else. Experience, I totally believe, is the best teacher. But we have this state that says child abuse if X, Y, and Z, and then you go to court and you go through a long-winded drama of various sorts, and there's child protective services. Shielding someone from pain, I think there's a subjective line to it, but I think a lot of it can be prevented. It's this argument of, well, if I don't yell at my kids, if I don't, get angry and, yell and punish and discipline, my kid is going to drink bleach and die. And that's like the most common argument I hear for parental oppression. And it's sad that that's the main one I hear, because it's this simple. Don't keep bleach in your house if you are a parent. Your whites do not have to be perfectly white, and you will have to deal with certain luxuries not existing, or if you do, buyer beware, because you just know that kid is going to, oh my god, the window is broken because they're into baseball, or because it's a simple matter of a lot of your stuff is going to get wrecked if it's a nice house. And definitely you want your kids to play outside. I wouldn't be against that, but if you're going to have these emotional insecurities of, well, not in my house, blah blah blah, and you don't keep great works of art in your house if you're going to be a parent, I would say. Don't keep, stuff that is supposed to be completely untainted, because, just by virtue of accident, a lot of your stuff is going to get wrecked. It's a matter of fact. And to, think that you can have a pristine condition museum is ludicrous. It's, nuts, because kids are active and they should be. To not have that would be riddling children. So this matter of bleach, this matter of electrical sockets, I mean, there's, we don't have perfect. We have, coverings. We have, plastics to prevent various kids, and we've got, other tools. But the kid's job is to be curious about the world, and that's, their main function. My friend was saying, oh, what about, if I have a 15-year-old daughter, she's going to go with a bunch of guys to the middle of the inner city, and, and she's looking like, she's got that mini skirt, and I say, well, what makes you want to go into the city? I mean, definitely engage in curiosity, plus realize that the further you press your parental thumb of authority, the more springback that you're going to have as a teenager. That's natural too. That's, girl I dated not all that long ago, and, her dad hit her and stuff, like, she got totally into wearing piercings and getting piercings in the labia and stuff like that, just because, like, when you've got that kind of firm thumb, of course you do, you're a teenager, and you realize that a lot of your parents' rules are bullshit, you know, rebel in ways and you do irrational things, and some of it, you know, aesthetics, some of it a matter of just doing that to get back at dad. But it's, you know, what's natural is, okay, why would your 15-year-old be in this position where she would, you know, do something dangerous anyways? Another would be, okay, you're concerned for your daughter's safety. And this is a woman safety thing in general. Why wouldn't you teach your, you know, we hear all about the rape statistics. Why wouldn't you bring your daughter into martial arts if you're afraid of her getting raped in the middle of the night? I mean, that's, or attacked. It's, you know, one of those things, like, why are libertarians so, you know, you have to have a gun at your hip and you've got all these guns? Well, because accidents happen. So the more, you know, you definitely encourage preparedness for a situation, and there's, you know, preventive action in any step of childhood, whether baby or teenager, growing up, that you can take that will, you know, ensure safety, whether it be new knowledge or just you know, simple piece of plastic. Childproof is not childproof, but it can delay the interaction and make it harder to you know, stick the fork in the electric socket. I mean, it's a curiosity thing. I don't think anyone should be, you know, yelled at for that kind of stuff. I say yelled at, and I really gotta point this one out too. I'm, you know, in culinary school, in the kitchen, in various fast foods. I don't think yelling's abuse. I think screaming at someone is abuse. I think yelling when you have to get your point across is natural. And, you know, not when you're this close away from their face, but when you've got 100 other hot thing, you know, noisy things around, yelling makes sense. It communicates. And your children are going to yell also. Your children are going to, you know, so, like, loud volumes, I mean, so what? As long as you're not, you know, screaming at them, as long as you don't have that anger or hostility there, I mean, I say, you know, raising your voice, you gotta raise your voice in certain situations. Let's see, what else? I mean, I definitely like a lot of what, you know, the Mauna Conceala argument talked about with, like, you know, having your bed and having no crib, because that does look like prison. I like the idea of, you know, I mean, definitely if your Montessori school doesn't work out, try something else. And there's nothing to say that someone should school this way or do that, or the education profession is such a gem, and we don't have, you know, people as our dentists that, you know, that are just our friends. Well, I mean, I guess I can see both sorts of the spectrum. I don't think that any kind of formal, you know, licensure is going to make you what you are. I think that, you know, you're going to learn economics if you're in the inner city selling crack, because, I mean, you're going to learn supply and demand. You're also going to use force, but it's still economics. And you know, you can learn anything anywhere, really. So it's a ongoing thing. It's a very important thing to learn certain disciplines like math, science, but marketability toward careers, aptitude tests, they're industry standards. They're not, you know, a lot of them are state enforced. doesn't mean you have to learn from one place as long as you learn, but the only reason you would not want to learn is if you're going to a public school where you have the drive beaten out of you. Anyone that says, I mean, I would find it interesting if they were a Montessori educated kid that said, I just lost the desire to learn going here. And I mean, even Montessori or unschooling, it's like at that point it's so much freer than what most kids have. I really don't find much issue with it.